Oh my goodness, I've really outdone myself this time. It's a $65 budget deck. Felix and the No Good Ninjas. Alright, listen, I know you're sitting there next to an empty pizza box marveling at how you finished an entire pizza. Didn't even taste that good, was delivered a little bit warm. You had to pay a ridiculous delivery fee. You know, while we're on the subject, why the heck does anybody trust a random stranger with their food? Anyways, man, tomorrow is meal prep day and you'll never make this pizza mistake again. But today we're going to build a budget Felix 5 boots deck. Look at this beautiful man. I like his stance. Looks like he's ready to draw down with a couple of 6 guns. It's also kind of funny how he's got a tiny cowboy hat on. He's cute in a menacing ooze kind of way. And guess what? He's about to shoot those like and subscribe buttons, brother, because that's what we do here so we can keep the dream alive. The dream that I can someday afford to buy a pizza. Alright, let's read this thing. Felix 5 boots, 2 black, green, and a blue for a legendary creature. Ooze Rogue. It's a 5/4 with Menace and Ward 2. If a creature you control dealing combat damage to a player causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. 5 mana commander, not bad. He's got Menace and can hopefully swing in to get some damage triggers, but I'm not overly optimistic about that. The Ward 2 is also pretty great. It's big enough to dissuade casual removal. Now, doubling combat triggers is pretty fantastic, and the color combo is easy to build a deck around. Lots of value here, so we're going to build a $65 shell around this new commander. And everybody loves ninjas. As most American Magic players, you know, I do have some viral popularity in Sweden as well, but I can only speak for myself as an American. We love doing lots of training. You know, we do lots of ninja training, dude. Americans never sit in front of the TV until we get atrophy of our muscles. No, we train from a young age to do ninja things. Now, you've probably seen this card before, Yuriko, the Tiger Shadow, 1 blue and a black for a legendary creature, human ninja. It's a 1/3, has Commander Ninjutsu for blue and a black. So Ninjutsu is basically you return an unblocked attacker you control to hand. Put this card onto the battlefield from your hand or the command zone tapped and attacking. That's just for Commander Ninjutsu. The regular Ninjutsu doesn't care about the command zone. Whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to that card's mana value. I mean, this is a real Magic player's Magic card, right? It's mechanically very powerful. It's a ninja. It's got a pretty lady right on it. 82 cents after Commander Masters reprint. And of course you have this brooding legend over here, Satoru Umezawa. So this guy's 1 blue and a black for a legendary creature, human ninja. It's a 2/4. Whenever you activate a ninjutsu ability, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This ability triggers only once each turn. So most of the time I would say this is not a ninja deck. This is like a big creature deck if you put this guy in the command zone. In this particular deck, we're going to pay off all those ninjutsu stuff that we're doing because this guy gives each creature card in your hand ninjutsu, 2 blue and a black. Look at this fella, man. I mean, come on, appreciate the art. He's a real mean looking dude with neon Oni demons just hanging around for fun. And in the rest of the deck, we have about 12 or 13 other ninjas here, most with combat damage triggers, like Prosperous Thief, make some treasures, Ingenious Infiltrator, Moon Snare Specialist, draw some cards, standard stuff, you know. We also want some cheap unblockable creatures like Changeling Outcast, Triton Shorestalker, and Slitherblade to get through. So those little fellas can enable our ninjas or trigger draw engines like Biden of Thassa or Reconnaissance Mission. Drawing 2 cards off of these with Felix out there is a lot better than drawing 1 card. Some would say it's twice as good. We want to be drawing lots of cards to make sure we get into our more impactful ninjas and combat triggers. And that's what most of this deck is, brother. Impactful combat triggers that help us steal our opponent's stuff or put a bunch of permanents out there and grow our team. And that's fun. At the end of the day, I think we all work really hard. You know, we all scrimp and save, try not to fight with our wives, try not to get into car accidents. So we want to have a little bit of fun. That's what Felix is. Take a look at this fat boy, the Lord of the Void, 4 black, black, black for a creature demon. It's a 7/7 with flying. Whenever this guy deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 7 cards of that player's library, then put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield under your control. Heck yeah, man, this guy is a classic, recently reprinted and down to about $4. Listen, man, this is a lot of fun. I like his build, dude. He's been doing those lat pull downs. And with Felix out there, this can be a real menace. This guy kind of needs haste, though. All of these need haste. You don't want these dudes coming down and sitting there waiting to be removed. so you probably want to stick in boots and greaves just as an aside. How's about this guy, the old Silent Blade Oni, 3 blue black creature demon ninja. It's a 6/5, or it has ninjutsu for 4 blue and a black. Whenever this guy deals combat damage to a player, look at that player's hand. You may cast a spell from among those cards without paying its mana cost. Ninja this guy in for 6 damage. Not only that, deny your dear friend and opponent the resources to fight back. I've been wanting to use this fella in a deck since 2018. It's a little random, but lots of value. Now, a lot of these cards are already in the Precon that Felix comes in, so if you want to get that and modify it, this is a good way to go. But you have this guy, the Orochi Soul Reaver. This guy's 5 and a black for a creature Snake Ninja Rogue. It's a 5/4 with ninjutsu for 3 and a black. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token and manifest the top card of that player's library. Damn, dude. This is a powerful combat trigger. You can get additional triggers if you bop a couple different players. And it's rare we get more ninjas in a new set. This is new from the Precon that our dude Felix comes in, as stated before. Oh, look who gets some fancy new art. The Fallen Shinobi. I'd still hit it. 3 blue and a black for a creature zombie ninja. It's a 5/4 with ninjutsu, 2 blue and a black. Whenever this guy deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles the top 2 cards of their library. Until end of turn, you may play those cards without paying their mana cost. I gotta say, man, I like this art a ton more than the old art. Getting double triggers with Felix out there is a lot of value. Then we got this guy, the Deepest Growth, is out there doing his thing, looking like a real freak on a leash. This guy's 3 green for a legendary creature god. It's a 6/5 with trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. You may put a creature card and or a land card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. When this guy dies, he returns to the battlefield, tapped and transformed under its owner's control, transforms into a land you can flip back, but we're more interested in the combat damage trigger. This thing is bonkers for 5 mana, it's only about $3. I'm kind of surprised, man. This is an amazing trigger to duplicate. And of course, we got to get Nashi in here for the furries. She's the Moon Sage Scion, 1 black for a legendary creature rat ninja. It's a 3/2, has ninjutsu for 3 and a black. When it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Until end of turn, you may play one of those cards. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. It's about $2 or so, comes in the Precon as well. For the cost, this is fantastic value, especially if we get it twice. Now look at this thing, man. The Schema Thief is a little 15-cent banger, 3/3 with flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of target artifact that player controls. Very neat in this deck. The rest of the deck is little evasive creatures, more combat damage triggers and flyers with combat triggers, lots of card draw. Like this, the Mask of Riddles, blue and a black for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has fear. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card has equipped for 2. Twist their minds with fear, brother. This is a very light ability to slap in unmolested. You're drawing cards and ensuring we can get those triggers. Now, if you wanted to spice up the deck with some juicy but expensive power, you have the Dungeons and Dragons, including Old Gnawbone and all those big massive fools, man. These have some pretty wild combat damage triggers. You could always consider the swords of X and Y, most notably the Sword of Hearth and Home, Sword of Forge and Frontier. Both cards are about $8 and worth the price in my humble opinion. Theta Adele is always a great pickup, too bad it's so pricey. And this deck desperately needs haste. It's a combat trigger deck, so Concordant Crossroads, Sirach and Goreclaw would be great additions. These are expensive little cards though. So as always, the deck list is in the description. It's a lot of fun to pilot, so check it out. Drop your includes in the comments. It's a ninja deck without needing to go all in on Yuriko or Satoru. Kind of opens up your options a little bit while generating massive value. You get to try out some sweet little flyers, ramp into some big beasties and soul tie colors. Nothing better than that. All for the low price of $65. It relies on free spells, free permanents, and overcoming the premium mana cost with your commander's obvious strength. That's how you build a deck, and that's better Commander, dude. So check it out. And thanks for being you. Nikki G from Better Commander, signing off.